Discover the extraordinary life of a queen who changed history and played a decisive role in the Bible. In the vast and magnificent kingdom of Persia, young Esther finds herself at the center of a conspiracy that threatens to destroy her people. A woman of faith and courage, she becomes the unlikely heroine who changes the destiny of an entire nation. Hadassah, a young orphan Jewish girl raised by her cousin Mordecai, stands out in a beauty contest organized by King Ahasuerus. Her long black hair gleamed in the sunlight, and her eyes reflected a wisdom beyond her years. Hadassah, also known as Esther, caught everyone's attention as she entered the royal palace, where the anticipation was palpable. Before leaving, Mordecai warned her to keep her origins a secret and asked her to be discreet in order to ensure the safety of her people. With her heart racing, Esther entered the presence of King Ahasuerus, who observed her with curiosity and admiration. When asked about her identity, Esther firmly replied, "Hadassah, your majesty." Charmed by her incomparable beauty and grace, the king decided that she would be the new queen, unaware of her Jewish identity that could change the destiny of his people. Haman, a cunning and ambitious official, yearned for power and recognition within the kingdom of Persia. His ambition led him to devise meticulous plans to achieve his goals, even if it meant stepping on the shoulders of others. Upon entering the royal court, Haman soon realized that his path would cross with that of Mordecai, Esther's cousin. Mordecai, a man of integrity and faithful to his beliefs, refused to bow down to Haman, triggering the official's fury. Mordecai's defiant attitude aroused feelings of contempt and anger in Haman, fueling his thirst for revenge. Determined to rise to the top of power, Haman saw Mordecai as an obstacle to be eliminated. Thus, while Esther prepared for her new life as queen, behind the scenes of the palace court, intrigues and conspiracies were brewing, hatched by Haman, whose dark shadow loomed over the destiny of the Jewish people. Esther, now queen, faces a harrowing dilemma when she discovers that Haman, the ambitious court official, has devised a cruel plan to exterminate her people. With her heart aching at the responsibility that rests on her shoulders, Esther decides to act. Despite the imminent risk of death when she approaches the king without being summoned, she finds courage in her faith and love for her people. In a suspenseful and emotional scene, Esther reveals her Jewish identity to Ahasuerus, unmasking Haman's lies and exposing his treacherous plans. King Ahasuerus is shocked by the revelation and the betrayal of his loyal official. Esther's courage and determination touch the heart of the king, who is faced with a crucial decision: to support the queen and her people, or to allow the execution of Haman's deadly decree. In this crucial moment, Esther demonstrates that an ordinary woman can become a true heroine when she acts boldly for justice and the lives of her people. After Haman's plot is discovered, King Ahasuerus calls an emergency meeting in his palace to deal with the situation. Esther, still shaken by the revelation of her Jewish identity and the danger that looms over her people, attends the meeting alongside Mordecai. The tense atmosphere in the royal hall reflects the gravity of the moment, as Haman is confronted in front of everyone. The king, with a serious and determined expression, questions Haman about his true intentions and the extent of his treachery. Faced with the evidence presented by Esther and Mordecai, Haman is brought to justice and convicted of his nefarious acts. The sentence is handed down by King Ahasuerus, who decrees Haman's punishment as a clear warning against any future attempts to harm the Jews in his kingdom. Justice prevails, and the Jewish people find relief in seeing the perpetrator of the plot, unmasked, receive the punishment he deserves. After Haman's death, the Jews celebrate their deliverance with festivities that last for days. The streets of Susa are decorated with colorful garlands and festive flags, while the people gather in the squares and synagogues to praise God for their salvation. Esther, now recognized as a figure of courage and leadership, is acclaimed by her people. Mordecai organizes banquets in honor of the queen and King Ahasuerus, strengthening the bonds between the monarchy and the Jewish people. During the Purim celebrations, children listen attentively to the stories of Esther and Mordecai's heroic deeds, learning about the importance of faith and determination in the face of adversity. Purim becomes an annual holiday filled with meaning, reminding all Jews of their victory over oppression and the preservation of their cultural identity. The Purim tradition has endured through the centuries as a testament to divine providence that protects those who remain true to their principles and values. After revealing her Jewish identity to King Ahasuerus, Esther finds herself faced with a new challenge, balancing her role as queen with the responsibility of leading her people through turbulent times. The pressure and expectations on her shoulders increase as she realizes the magnitude of the destiny entrusted to her. Esther delves into deep reflections about her divine purpose and the importance of her privileged position in the royal palace. The queen seeks guidance in her beliefs and finds strength in connecting with her ancestral faith, seeking inspiration in the stories of Jewish heroes of the past. Esther's every step as a leader is marked by courage, wisdom, and compassion, attributes that make her a living example of the positive influence that a determined person can have on the course of history. Mordecai, aware of the gravity of the situation and the importance of Esther's role as queen, reminds her of her father's words when he entrusted her to Mordecai's care after her parents' death. He tells Esther of the ancient prophecy that foretold that she was destined to play a crucial role in the history of her people. Mordecai emphasizes that every challenge Esther had faced up to that point was part of a greater plan devised by God to safeguard the Jews. With tears in his eyes, he expresses his confidence in Esther's courage and wisdom, encouraging her to remain steadfast in her faith and to act with determination in the face of the adversities that were yet to come. Esther, moved by Mordecai's words, feels the weight of responsibility on her shoulders, but finds strength in the conviction that her journey is not just a matter of destiny, but rather a divine calling to protect and guide her people. After Haman's condemnation and Esther's revelation of her Jewish identity to King Ahasuerus, the queen and Mordecai lead the Jewish people through a period of rebuilding and renewal. The Purim festival becomes a symbol of resilience and hope for all Jews, celebrating not only the victory over the imminent threat, but also the unity and solidarity of the community. Esther, now recognized as a just and courageous leader, reaches out to those in need and promotes reconciliation among those affected by Haman's plot. The queen's banquets become occasions of forgiveness and gratitude, where differences are set aside in favor of harmony and mutual respect. The Jewish people unite in prayers of gratitude for the salvation granted and for the divine protection that guided them through the darkness. The Purim festival is now celebrated not only as a historical event, but as a continuing reminder of the importance of faith, justice, and courage in the face of adversity. Esther and Mordecai stand as symbols of inspiration for future generations, reminding everyone that even in the darkest times, the light of hope shines brightly when people remain united in their faith. The story of Esther teaches us that even in the face of the greatest adversity and challenges, courage and faith can be the driving forces that push us to overcome seemingly insurmountable obstacles. Esther, an ordinary woman with no power or influence, was placed in a position of extreme importance and responsibility to save her people from imminent destruction. Her journey is a living testament to the human capacity to rise up in the face of injustice and act for the greater good. By standing up to King Ahasuerus and exposing Haman's cruel plot, Esther demonstrated that a single determined person can make a difference and change the course of history. Her courage inspires future generations to not bow down to tyranny and to keep the flame of hope alive even in the darkest moments. Esther's extraordinary life reminds us that each of us carries within us the potential to be an agent of transformation and justice in our world. As we conclude this incredible journey through the life of Esther, we are reminded of the transformative power of courage and faith. The story of this queen who changed the course of history and saved her people is an inspiring testament to how one person can make a difference in the face of adversity. Esther teaches us that, even in the most challenging situations, determination and trust in something greater can guide us beyond the limits of the impossible. Her journey invites us to reflect on our own struggles and to find within ourselves the strength necessary to face obstacles with resilience and hope. May Esther's story echo in our hearts as a constant reminder that regardless of the circumstances, each of us has the potential to be an agent of change and light in the world. As we close this remarkable narrative, we are invited to keep the flame of courage and kindness alive in our lives, inspiring each other to be instruments of love and compassion on life's journey. If this story touched your heart, subscribe to the channel for more inspiring content. Faith and courage can transform the world around us. Together, let's grow in spiritual knowledge. Until the next video.